This is Gregory Majewski of Oakdale, Connecticut. You're listening to International Radio Report on CKUT 90.3 FM in Montreal.
Welcome to the International Radio Report on Sunday, February the 13th. My name's Sheldon. I am here with Jill. We thank you for joining us. It is our 30-minute visit with you on CKUT 90.3 FM in Montreal. We have an email address for you, radioreport@yahoo.com, if you'd like to communicate with us. Our show is live streaming and archived at ckut.ca. Our Facebook group, International Radio Report, has 713 members. We welcome Gabrielle and Mohammed to the group this week. And our YouTube channel, where you can go and catch the show at your convenience. It is youtube.com/International Radio Report, and we have 576 subscribers there. Lots of information out there on the Facebook for you. We do have some special programs on the YouTube channel as well that you might like to check out, programs that don't make it onto the regular show on CKUT. We have a lot of information to get to this week, so we'll get right into it. We are getting closer and closer to the 35th annual NASWA Winter SWL Festival. We've been telling you about it for several weeks now. It's coming up on the 4th and 5th of March, and there's been some last-minute updates to the website. One or two new events added to the schedule. So simply go to the swlfest.com. That's swlfest.com. You need to go on there and register. It will be a virtual event run on the Zoom platform. There will be a virtual hospitality room open for the weekend as well. And it is only $10 for all of the activities of the two-day event. So do go to the website, swlfest.com, register, and get ready for 2 days jam-packed of lots of interesting radio information. And everybody is looking forward to it, and it is coming up very, very quickly. So you do want to get your registration in as soon as possible. It is a special day today.
Yes.
It is World Radio Day, February the 13th. We hope wherever you are that you or a radio station that you listen to or some station around you is marking the occasion. On the occasion of World Radio Day 2022, UNESCO calls on radio stations worldwide to celebrate this event's 11th edition and more than a century of radio. This edition of World Radio Day is divided into three main sub-themes: trust in radio journalism, trust and accessibility, and trust and viability of radio stations. Now, we want to mark this occasion. We think we celebrate Radio Day almost every week, almost every day.
Pretty much.
But, this is a special day to pay real attention to it and draw attention to radio. And in particular right now, with so much misinformation flying around out there, trust is the main theme of this year's event. Now, the Director General of UNESCO, Ms. Audrey Azoulay, has issued a special message for today. So we thought we would read that as our sort of tribute to World Radio Day. She goes on to say, on this edition of World Radio Day, the theme of which is radio and trust, we are celebrating the independence and reliability of radio. We turn to radio more than any other medium when we need to be informed. For example, in Europe, where fewer than 1 in 5 people consider social networks a credible source of information, more than half of all people trust radio. This trust is all the more important under serious circumstances, as radio is the only medium which can reach so many households, especially in the remotest of areas. During a pandemic, radio thus remains one of the surest ways to know what to do without controversy confusing matters. Radio is often the medium through which learning continues when schools are closed. For example, in sub-Saharan Africa, while 3/4 of university students own a radio, only 30% have internet access at home. However, our trust in radio may be due to something even more profound. Where images can be distorted or reproduced to the point of excess, radio establishes a more direct, more intimate relationship between speaker and listener. Of course, this close relationship must be coupled with a guarantee of independence and rigor. Our organization sees to this by promoting reliable and quality information everywhere through support of press freedom for journalists. The best guarantee of radio's independence, however, is the diversity of those who make it and the diversity of their voices. Radio would not inspire such trust if we could not make it our own, regardless of our culture. While television requires more significant resources, radio offers communities, villages, and schools an accessible meaning of sharing their knowledge. UNESCO is encouraging radio projects, for example, in Cameroon, where an agreement to support community radio stations was signed in November. For Trust is the product not only of a constant effort to be independent, but also of better representation of diversity in terms of language, gender, and ideas. Many radio stations have already taken up these issues. Whatever their audience ratings, they will have UNESCO's solid support. This February 13th, let us all join together to express how much radio means to us. A medium over 100 years old, radio is today more relevant than ever. May it live on for many more years to come.
Definitely one of the cheapest ways also to enjoy programs. And I think if we can trust radio more than many other mediums, and with all the fake news on the internet and social media, I think it's a great way to continue in the future. And I think it shows us how powerful radio is also.
Yeah, I think the numbers are important that they show there, with so many people who just take things for granted, internet available, high speed to everybody. Well, that's obviously not the case. It might be around us, but in many corners of the planet, it's just such a luxury, if not even an impossibility for some people. And we talk about the types of radios that are out there now, very inexpensive radios.
Absolutely.
That people can pick up that are powerful radios, shortwave radios. They can not only listen to their local stations, but listen to news and opinions and information from other parts of the world. So I think it's important that UNESCO and the United Nations have decided to mark this day and really focus attention on just what a powerful tool radio is. And as they say, may it live on for many more years to come.
Yep. And one word to all the broadcasters out there, to all the radio stations: focus on where and how your listeners are getting your programs. With all the talk of digital, remember that there are millions and millions of radios that still work very well, that might be even old radios that can get analog programs. And we've got to remember that, to have that voice on the radio reach as many people as possible. Well, a couple of weeks ago, we had an interesting story about a college radio station that wanted to set a Guinness World Record, and they actually did. This is by Susan Hasworth for Radio World. So on February 5th and 6th, 2022, two DJs at WJCU-FM on the campus of John Carroll University broke the Guinness World Record for longest consecutive radio interview. The program started at 7 a.m. on February 5th and ran live until 8:35 a.m. the next morning, capping a 25-hour, 35-minute-long interview. The program aired on 88.7 FM in Cleveland, on Instagram Live via the WJCU radio app, and on Twitch. The record-breaking event was led by two radio staff, Zachary Sinutko and Colin Kennedy, who serve as on-air personalities as well as executive producer and co-producer, respectively, of the station's hip-hop rap show 808s and Mixtapes. The previous record was set on November 8, 2021 at Imal FM 90.2 in Kathmandu, Nepal, with 25 hours and 26 minutes long interview of Nepalese tourism expert Hang Fingjo Sherpa. It got hard in the middle of the night, but with the help of the community and the rest of the university, we did it, said Kennedy. Thank you to the school and to everyone who passed by the WJCU studio to help encourage us to do the unachievable. So congratulations. I mean, that must have been probably long at some point, after hours and hours and hours of chatting, but they just kept at it, and congratulations, they are now in the Guinness World Records.
I wonder if anybody actually listened to the whole thing too. They should go into the book as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. Could people listen to us for 25 hours plus? I don't know.
That's a good question. Well, some did.
And could we do it? There's a question. Or would we want to even?
Well, that's the first thing. Do we really want to do that, first of all?
Yeah. Anyways, congratulations to them. Happy to update that story. We have a special program coming up on Monday, February the 14th from a station called Radio Emma Talk. And it's going to be a lot of different elements to this special broadcast. They are celebrating a radio event that took place, the station 2MT. They're going to be running even a video cast of this event as well. emmatalk.org is the place to go. That's EMMATOC.org. Programming all day from 1100 UTC. Jim, one of the hosts, live broadcast will start at 1845 UTC. Radio Emma Talk is celebrating the centenary of the first 2MT broadcast with an online stream on Monday, the 14th of February. So this is tomorrow. The stream starts at 1100 with a program of audio and video telling the story of 2MT. The live program, hosted by Jim Salmon, also a BDXC member, starts at 1845 when a glass will be raised to 2MT at 100. Full program details of the day are listed on their website. And 2MT was the first British radio broadcast. And this is why they are marking the 100th anniversary of that broadcast, the call sign 2MT. So this comes to us from BDXC Communications of February.
Oh, this is going to be interesting. And if you have never listened to a Emma Talk broadcast, do listen. They are very interesting, informative, lots to talk about radio.
Yeah, so the website again, emmatalk.org. That's EMMATOC.org, and you'll get all the information of how you can access the different aspects of the broadcast.
So what's happening with our sun? Well, we had quite some activity this week with some small solar flares and coronal mass ejections that created pretty much a roller coaster this week of quiet conditions going into G1 class geomagnetic storms at times. Depending on the hours and the time that you were listening to the radio, you could have seen either bad conditions or great conditions or conditions that were changing quite rapidly. And it seems like what's going to happen is pretty much the same thing for the week ahead. Add to that there's a coronal hole on the sun that will affect us with some solar wind reaching either today or tomorrow, February 14th. The solar flux around 112, sunspot number 78. So varying conditions is what we had and pretty much what we'll have in the week ahead. Let's hope there's more quiet conditions than not. But the best way to really take the pulse of propagation is to turn on that radio and listen.
This is Jeff Eichner of Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania, United States of America. Listen to the International Radio Report every Sunday morning at 10:30 on CKUT 90.3 FM in Montreal.
So we got some news that is not 100% clear. Actually, the only information we have comes from a Greek text that was translated. And the translations, we know what they are. They're okay, but they're not always perfect. It goes with a possible end to the Voice of Greece on shortwave. So this is from Zacharias Liangas to Glenn Hauser's World of Radio. Here it says in the text, direct shots against the government and the ERT, which is the Greek broadcaster. The ERT administration have been launched by Prospert, Pan-Hellenic Federation of Television Associations of Radio and Television Companies. They accuse them of the abolition of the site which transmits the historic Voice of Greece broadcasts and the abolition of the corresponding broadcast center in Avlida, with parallel demolition of antennas in the broadcast centers of medium wave services in other spots. In the statement, they say that the Shortwave Broadcasting Center, which is the only one in all of Greece, performs a crucial role in serving constitutional purpose of ERT and the transmission of its radio program throughout the world, which prospered and its workers kept open during the struggle against the Black Coup, ensuring both the transmission of the program and the equipment of ERT, which is public property of the Greek people. Great impression and concern for the security issues of the country is caused by the information of the administration in the form of a question to the Ministries of Defense and Foreign Affairs to decide for themselves if they wish to continue the operation of the service on their own responsibility. They go on to say that, in particular, the Avlida Broadcasting Center broadcasts, among others, the Voice of Greece, a historic radio station of international reach, which targets the 14 million Greek expatriates in Europe, USA, Canada, Australia, and to a large number of Greek workers outside the borders, such as seafarers and seagoing ships and truck drivers traveling around Europe. Pospert, recognizing the great importance of the operation of the Vraion Broadcasting Center and the Voice of Greece, is maintaining links between the expatriate Greeks and their homeland, had over the years stressed the need to modernize and upgrade the facilities for the broadcasting center, and they are deploring the constant abandonment and undermining of its operations by both the ERT administration and the state. It goes on to say that basically what they want to do is to dismantle the medium wave broadcasting, and we kind of think of the Avlida shortwave broadcasting site at the same time. And this is where we, and there's something you can do actually to help maintain the Voice of Greece. The Voice of Greece on shortwave is one of those broadcasters that is pretty good, has a good signal here in North America. 9420 kilohertz is always great. Great Greek music, and a lot of people enjoy listening to that broadcast. There's something you can do actually to maybe help maintain the broadcast alive, and it's to write to them, to let them know, hey, we are listening. We like your programs. We think it's very important to keep a Greek voice on the air, and the Voice of Greece is an important aspect of knowing more about Greek culture and general also at the same time. The Voice of Greece at ert.jr is where you can send an email. It is, I think, something that everybody should take their 5 or 10 minutes. The broadcasts are going to end March the 31st. So it gives us a little bit of time to send in our comments. I've sent mine. I know a lot of people that follow my live shows have sent an email also. They've been confirming they've been sending their emails to support the Voice of Greece. And let's cross our fingers that things can change and that they can keep that alive.
Yeah, this is a government broadcaster, so the funding, of course, does come from the government. So they have to look at it and understand. I think in some cases governments don't understand the international broadcasting. They write a check and say, here, do whatever it is that you do. So they have to be made aware too that there are people out there listening. Yeah. There are Greeks around the world who are probably tuning into that broadcast. They used to carry a number of different language services. They're still listed in the WRTH, but there have been irregularities with the service, and I think that might have something to do with the maintenance of the transmitters and the antennas. So, it probably is something that they're looking at and thinking, well, here's a way we can save some money pretty quickly. And, we've seen this script played out in many other countries, unfortunately. So no guarantee that what you have to say is going to have an impact, but it doesn't cost anything to do it and get your opinion out to them and see how it all plays out in the end. We next go to Russia with some interesting radio-related story here. Russia initiates cross-border radio broadcasts in the North's languages. This comes from the TASS news service via the SWLing blog in St. Petersburg. TASS is reporting the International Consortium for the Preservation of Arctic Cultural Heritage, based at the Russian State Hydrometeorology University initiated a cross-border radio broadcast in languages of the North's indigenous peoples, the university's representative in Moscow told TASS. An application for the broadcast has been filed with the Arctic Council. The application must be filed from 2 countries, and we plan to go along with Norway with the Sami radio station, which is a part of Norway's big television and radio concern. The idea has been supported at all levels. As for the cross-border broadcast, we probably will begin from the shortwave broadcasts, as it covers bigger territories and is less costly. At the initial stage, the pilot broadcast will be organized on the territories of Finland, Norway, and Russia. The project's initiators are ready to cooperate with other countries. One transmitter in Krasnoyarsk may cover 80% of the Russian north. Norway has such a transmitter, which covers the Scandinavian territory. Another 2 transmitters are in Alaska, he continued. Later on, the broadcast will also be on medium wave and long wave. Thus, one frequency will carry 3 or 4 channels, he added. One of them will be in Russian and English, and the rest in languages of the indigenous peoples. The audiences will learn about traditions, skills of the people living in the north. The content will fully focus on culture. The countries participating in this project will open newsrooms. We hope the General Center, which will coordinate the project, will be at the Arctic Council. The International Consortium for the Preservation of Arctic Culture Heritage includes St. Petersburg Committee on the Arctic Museum and Exhibition Center in St. Petersburg, the Association of Indigenous Low-Numbered Peoples of the North, Siberia, and Far East, and others. This is pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah.
We haven't had a lot of news to report about brand new services, particularly using shortwave. Also, that 3 countries are going to be cooperating together on this, serving people of the high north in the 3 different regions. So a really positive story, and I think this will be something that will be attractive not just to those people in the north, but to people who listen to shortwave in general. So we'll be waiting to get more information about this as to when they're up and running, where the transmissions are, frequencies, and all that sort of thing. So a really positive story. Glad to be able to report that one.
Yeah, definitely, and especially targeting these communities up in the north. So we have a story about 7 that were injured, 1 seriously in armed attack on Guinea Bissau radio station. This is via Reporters Without Borders. Reporters Without Borders is appalled by an attack by masked gunmen on Capital FM, a radio station in Bissau, the capital of Guinea-Bissau, in which 7 people, including 3 of its journalists, were injured. The authorities must quickly identify those responsible, RSF says. One of the journalists is still in serious condition in Bissau's military hospital with spine and rib injuries that she sustained during the attack on the privately owned pro-opposition radio station, which was carried out at around 11 a.m. on February 7th by masked men wearing military uniforms and armed with Kalashnikovs. The gunmen opened fire, ransacked the premises, and destroyed all the equipment they found. 2 other Capital FM journalists were injured in the attack. One has an arm broken, and the other sustained a foot injury. Technicians and other employees were also injured. The attack came 6 days after a failed coup attempt in Guinea-Bissau on February 1st, in which 11 people were killed. While all other radio stations kept broadcasting after the coup attempt, Capital FM, which is known for being very critical of the government and sympathetic to the opposition, closed for 6 days as a safety measure. The station had just resumed broadcasting when the attack took place. A popular radio station, widely regarded as sympathetic to the opposition African Party for the independence of Guinea and Cape Verde, Capital FM has often been threatened in the past. Gunmen stormed into the station and destroyed much of its equipment in a previous attack on July 26, 2020. Yep. An investigation was opened, but the perpetrators were never identified. Guinea-Bissau is ranked 95th out of 180 countries in RSF's 2021 World Press Freedom Index. So that shows you that sometimes some people are putting their lives at risk for talking about their viewpoints, especially in Africa in general. There's a lot of difficulty in expressing your viewpoints against, governments.
It's interesting that the other stations, all other stations in the country, were allowed to did continue broadcasting through all of that. Yet this one in particular, being an opposition broadcaster, I guess decided we better calm down here for a little bit.
Yep.
And then, of course, once they opened up, the attack happened immediately. So it's showing the importance of, either getting the word out or trying to stop getting the word out by the people who don't want those words being put out over the radio.
So we have upcoming ham radio contests.
There are a few coming up for the week. First off, we have the PODXS 070 Club Valentine Special. This is coming up tomorrow, February 14th, for 24 hours, 0000 to 2359 Zulu, organized by that club. The object is to work as many stations as possible during a 6-hour block within the day's transmissions. The bands are only 40, 80, and 160 meters, and this is strictly a PSK 31 contest.
There's the ARRL School Club Roundup, 13 Zulu, February 14th, 2359 Zulu, February 18th, organized by the American Radio Relay League. The object is to have school-based amateur radio club stations work other club stations. A station may operate no more than 6 hours in a 24-hour period, and a maximum of 24 hours in the 107-hour event. Bands, all amateur bands except 60, 30, 17, and 12 meters are permitted. CW and phone contacts.
We have the NTC QSO Party, 1900 to 2000, a 1-hour contest only, February 17th, organized by the Netherlands Telegraphy Club. The purpose of our QSO Party is to stimulate activity and practice CW in and around the Netherlands. So it's on 80, 40, and 20 meters, and of course, CW only.
And finally, the ARRL International DX Contest. CW from 0 Zulu, February 19th to 2359 Zulu, February 20th, organized by the American Radio Relay League. Bands 1.8, 3.5, 7, 14, 21, and 28 megahertz. CW only.
All right. Lots of activity going on, lots of stories. We will put links to most of these up on our Facebook page, so go and check them out there. And we do invite you to send along stories for us as well through the Facebook page. Is probably the easiest way to do it. Or you can email us radioreport@yahoo.com. So we continue to celebrate. We hope you are celebrating World Radio Day wherever you are. And celebrate radio every day. Don't just leave it to one day. We will celebrate this day in particular, but remember that radio is important every day, and keep listening. That's the best thing you can do. Have a great week, everybody. We'll talk to you again next week on the International Radio Report on CKUT 90.3 FM in Montreal.
Bye-bye.
This is Athens. You are listening to the Voice of Greece.